Hey everybody, this is the Sliders Review, and I'm here today to talk to you about why isn't Agnes Jurati locked up in prison? So this has been a head scratcher for many people who watched season 1 of Star Trek Picard. And let's give a little recap on Agnes. Now, Agnes was a friend of Jean-Luc Picard. She was a scientist in cybernetics, and she worked in the Daystrom Institute, where they built well, you have to call them synths now. We can't call them androids no more. Not sure why. They've never explained why in Star Trek Picard they call androids Siths. Now maybe it has to do with Google trademarking the term android, and back in the day they didn't. That could be a possibility, but for now we just don't know. But anyway, she helped Dr. Maddox build some. And around that time, he was looking to make a more advanced version of like data. And so and at that time, it was illegal to make sense because they were banned because of that huge attack on, God, what was that attack at? I don't know. It was some type of like shipping space yard thing where they make a bunch of ships. Um, Now, her and Dr. Maddox weren't just colleagues, they were lover and friends. And so many years later, he went into hiding because, he did something illegal for against Starfleet wishes, and that was creating synths. So anyway, I'm just gonna say androids. Screw that. For Korean androids. So he went into hiding. Nobody knew where he was, and so many years later, when I think her name was Dodge, when she confronted Picard and told him what's up, she died, and he has to go looking for her twin sister, and he wants to know if Maddox actually created her and created more like her. So he went to Agnes, and so after that interaction, she had an encounter with Commodore O. Now, at that time, we thought Commodore O was just a Vulcan and a very high-ranking officer. It turns out she's actually a Vulcan slash Romulan hybrid. And so she asked, what did Picard talk to her about and all this and that. And so that was left like up in the air. We didn't know really what was going to go on after that. Next thing you know, when Picard is in trouble, Agnes ends up killing one of those Romulan assassin people, and then she ends up joining him and his brand new crew on the mission that they're going on, and that is to find Soji, the twin sister of Dodge, an android with Data's positronic like brain thingy or whatever you call it. So anyway, they go on this mission, and throughout this entire mission, Agnes is probably one of those characters that's very least liked in this series. She's not as annoying as Neelix, but she's kind of on that level. And so at some point in time, when they do find Dr. Maddox, he's like, I think he was injured or something like that, and they put him on some kind of like, some kind of machine where it kept him alive, kind of like a ventilation system, kind of, but more of a Star Trek high-tech type thing. And so next thing you know, she turns off the machine. And when the hologram doctor comes in, she turns him off. And then she lets Maddox die. Just straight up die. Like she murdered a dude. And so a lot of people was wondering, why'd she kill him for? Because that's supposed to be like her friend and lover and stuff. And so a lot of people assume it has something to do with Commodore O. And was she really a Vulcan, or was she really a Romulan? But it made no sense, because if she was a Romulan, then, a lot of people think maybe they melded together, probably, you know what I'm saying? But how? And she's a Romulan. But now it appears in the new CBS Star Trek, anybody can mind meld. You don't even have to be a Romulan. I mean, you don't have to be a Vulcan. Now, Romulans can mind meld, androids can mind meld, and they don't even have a real brain. Yes, let's look at that for a second. Vulcans were the only ones known to mind meld with anybody, because duh, they're Vulcans. Now Romulans are Vulcans, but they're they are Romulans, but they they are Vulcan, but they kind of like split off from the group many years ago and developed their own thing, and they've never been shown to have telepathic abilities and stuff. Then all of a sudden, now they can. And not only that, but the whole android thing. One of those like android twin people who look like Soji, she says she's been studying up on that and she's learned how to mind meld, but she doesn't have a real brain. All she has is an android brain. So how in the world is she able to mind meld? How? How? I wonder how. But tell me how. I gotta know how. This doesn't make no sense. This doesn't make no logical sense whatsoever. She is literally a machine, a toaster with a toaster brain. And how are you able to meld with somebody with an organic brain? We don't know. The showrunners don't know. The executive producers don't know because they just don't know Star Trek. They just don't know Star Trek. Anywho, so anyways, they find out that Commodore O mind melded with Agnes, and she showed her that vision of like the androids destroying the universe and everything. I think it was called the Admiration, I think. I can't really remember. I'm trying to block this season out my head. So she shows her that vision. And it's the vision where it makes anybody other than an android throw up. And so Agnes is like, oh my God, I can't believe what I helped build and everything, blah, 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 and stuff like that. And, you know, the universe is going to come to an end and we're going to be enslaved by the machines. And the Matrix? Am I getting the Matrix feel up in here? So anyway, after all that, she said she wanted to atone for her actions. And unbeknownst to her, Commodore O implanted a tracking device in her bloodstream. Not only that, but when she melded with her, she made it so Agnes could never reveal that Commodore O came to her and showed her this vision. When Agnes found out that they're being trapped by the Romulan dude, she didn't understand why, but she figured it probably something to do with her. So she injected herself with something that killed the tracking unit, but also put her in a coma. When she woke up, they told her, you know, she killed Maddox, and she's like, you know, I know, and blah, 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 and all this other stuff. And so, okay. Now this raises the question. After Picard and everybody else, Rios and Raffi, who used to be, all three of them used to be Starfleet officers. After now knowing Agnes murdered a man in cold blood, why? Why? Has she not been arrested yet and sent off to prison? She literally murdered somebody in cold blood. Now, there is the possibility that the Romulan lady, or Romulan half-hybrid Vulcan lady, there is the possibility that this lady implanted like a suggestion in her head to murder the dude. Possibly. We don't know. We simply just don't know. Because that part was never revealed. So since that part was never revealed, that can't be canon and we can't make that assumption. So we have to go with what we know. And what we know is that the lady did block the ability for her to tell somebody what had went on and stuff like that. So after knowing that she murdered not only a human, not only an innocent person, but a former Starfleet scientist, a high-ranking one at that. I think he was like lieutenant commander or full-ranking commander. I can't remember. So after knowing all this, why didn't Picard say, well, Agnes, time for you to go to jail? Now, she was willing to turn herself in, but they didn't turn her in because they still needed her for the mission. And now we see in season 2, she's still hanging out with them and stuff. And so it's kind of like, since when does Picard, Jean-Luc Picard, the former captain of the Enterprise, a former admiral, when does he just let a criminal go away scot-free? Like when? Well, he doesn't do things like that. And it's just like, okay. And for those unaware of Star Trek, yes, they do have a prison. And yes, they do send criminals to prison. And yes, they do send former Starfleet officers and workers to prison as well. Take Michael Burnham. On the first episode of Star Trek Discovery, she committed mutiny aboard her ship and went against her captain's wishes and used the Vulcan nerve pinch. I forget what it's called. My head's kind of hurting right now. I've been painting and I'm smelling paint, so my head's a little fuzzy. So yeah, she used that and she got sent off to prison and stuff. But then she got rescued by Lurker and his like merry band crew and stuff. But yeah, she went to prison. Was supposed to go to prison because she committed mutiny and stuff. Nick Locarno slash Tom Paris, which is technically the same person. They just wasn't allowed to use the rights to Nick Locarno's character, but Tom Paris technically is him. He went to prison because of his recklessness. He allowed Starfleet, Nick allowed Starfleet cadet to end up getting murdered because he did a high risk maneuver that he wasn't supposed to do. And then I think Tom Paris, he didn't follow orders or something like that, and it caused a Starfleet officer to die or something like that. But yeah, both of them went to jail and everything. Well, Nick got kicked out of the academy. I'm pretty sure he went to jail. But I know for a fact Tom Paris was in jail because in Voyager Season 1, Episode 1, we see him locked up, breaking rocks and stuff. And Janeway got him out so he could fly like her ship and stuff. But yeah, them two went to jail. Why can't Agnes? Remember that one episode where it was this time traveler dude and he was really quirky and stuff, and he was very like, he was telling people, oh, you're gonna do this scientific discovery in the future, like milking it for the crew, making them like gullible and stuff. And then he ended up stealing a bunch of their items, and he was gonna time travel out of there, and he wanted data. Well, it turns out this dude's not even from the future. He's actually from the past. He stumbled upon a time machine, and I think the pilot died, so he took it, went to the future. He's gonna steal a bunch of stuff, take it back to the past, and say he built it for his own. And so he didn't kill nobody. He did put a phaser to Data and was going to kill him or deactivate him at least. But it didn't work because it was deactivated once it was in the shuttle. But he still didn't kill nobody. But yet Picard told him, hey man, welcome to the 24th century, but you're going to jail. And he went to jail for stealing from Starfleet officers and stuff, and also corrupting the timeline. So if Picard can send him to jail for that, why didn't he send Agnes to jail for murder? I just find it strange and peculiar that the writers will allow something like this. Now, this is supposed to be the 24th century. This is Star Trek. This is supposed to be a utopia. This is supposed to be people who are advanced and evolved. And yet they've shown they have de-evolved by letting a criminal go away scot-free. And not only are they letting Agnes go away scot-free, 7 of 9 gets to go away scot-free, and we know 7 of 9 is a murderer now. When she is very vengeful, she will murder somebody. And because she murdered her former lover, she murdered that Romulan lady. Now granted, her former lover and the Romulan lady were evil, yes. But that's not the Starfleet way. You are supposed to capture your villains and send them off to prison and all this other stuff. You're not supposed to just start blasting them with a phaser rifle and stuff. And not to mention all the guards she killed. Okay, they was like bad guys guards, so they were fighting. That's like self-defense. But murdering the bar lady, her former lover, and murdering the Romulan lady, and then just letting her still hang with them, that don't make no sense. Also, not to mention the evil Romulan dude who pretended to love Sochi and stuff. They let him go away scot-free, and he's a villain. Like, he tracked them. He was going to destroy Sochi and all the other androids, but then he had a change of heart. And then it's just like they let him go away scot-free. And I don't understand. What kind of message they are sending to Star Trek fans or just audience in general. Like, say you're not a Star Trek fan and you just so happen to stumble upon this show because you like one of the stars in it and you watch it and you think, oh, that's just how they are in that century. No, that is not how they are. When they arrest their criminals, this is sending messaging. This is not the Star Trek way. This is not the Gene Roddenberry way. Like, this is one of the reasons why I'm just not a fan of CBS Trek. And yes, one day I am going to do a video of why I love old Star Trek and why I have such a disdain towards new Trek. It's just new Trek is just, it's not real Star Trek. And I hate saying that and stuff because, you know, I mean, it has the word like, you know, Trek in it and stuff in Star Trek, but it's not true Star Trek that you identify with. Everything is so different. Everything is so strange. Everything is just so peculiar. Nothing really feels Star Trekish when you watch these shows. Even in the way, like, take Star Trek Picard. Everybody dressed so modern. It's like you can look at a person now, like your next door neighbor, and the clothes they're wearing could be similar to the one you see on Star Trek Picard. When I first saw Agnes, she was wearing blue jeans. I've never seen nobody wear blue jeans in Star Trek unless they time travel to the past. The city looks just like the city you'll see like nowadays, and it's just nothing seems futuristic to me anymore on that show. But yeah, I just wanted to like ponder this for a while. I still just don't understand why they're letting these criminals go away scot-free. It's almost like there's no consequences to as a person bad actions, you know? And that's a bad signal and a bad message to give to people. That's literally letting people know, hey, if you commit a crime, you can kill somebody, you can get away with it as long as you're friends with somebody. That is the message in which they are sending to people. That is not the Star Trek way. Back in the old days, when you watch Star Trek, they will give you a clear-cut message, and they'll tell you why this is wrong and why you should atone, and you know how and this and this and that, and how you should be punished and stuff like that. You don't see that no more because it's not like that no more. This is new Trek. This is CBS Trek. And when you look at CBS misconduct and Me Too and Time's Up employees and how they got away with stuff for so many decades, it makes you wonder why the writers of this show are just letting the criminals get away with stuff. Yeah, look these people up. Alrighty, well, I'll talk to y'all later. Bye.